Now there's another very important point about keeping the integrity of the crankshaft rotation and the camshaft's rotation. This is always of extreme importance on what they call an interference engine, which just means that the height of the piston at top dead center is sufficient that if the valves were to open, they would come in contact with it. And what this means in general practice is you'll bend a lot of your valves if this happens. So you never want to lose the timing relationship between the camshafts, which turn at half engine speed, half crankshaft speed, and the crankshaft itself. Now a very important point on this beautiful Lotus 918 V8 is in the design of how the toothed camshaft belts are driven. Quite a normal relationship. You can probably see we've got two camshafts per bank because it's a 4 valve per cylinder pent head design, and each of the two belts driving the two camshafts on each bank are driven from these timing gears here. I should have put my light on so you can see that better. Now when I do that, hold on, I'll stop. Right, here we go. That's nice and lit up now. Now what we have here is a primary shaft on which these two gears are torqued down and then provide drive to the two camshaft belts. So the intermediate shaft is driven from the crankshaft by a chain which is behind this casing here, and then obviously the intermediate shaft drives the camshaft belts. Now the thing is, the only thing that's keeping the relationship between the crankshaft rotation and the camshaft rotation is to stop that interference with the valves and the pistons, is the torquing of this bolt keeping these gears secure on this intermediate shaft. Now, my contact within the Lotus factory informs me that Lotus never had a standard engine returned with a failure of the torquing of that bolt and the subsequent destruction of the engine. However, we are going to be pushing power outputs on this engine up towards and possibly above what was achieved in the GT1 racing program. Obviously we're using various parts from that program, including the plenum here with Lotus Carlton throttle bodies, and underneath here the intercooler. So many non-standard aspects to this engine. Much larger turbos. We're using the GT28 RS turbos. We have fabricated exhaust manifolds. The heads have been gas flowed, so we can easily expect, well north of 500 to 550 horsepower on this engine. Now, although a standard engine never encountered any problem with these timing gears, the GT1 race program, the development of the 918 Lotus V8, used a Scotch key approach on these cogs here. So in other words, rather like a Woodruff key, which you may well have seen on camshaft timing, the intermediate shaft and both cogs here, and of course the washer in between them, were drilled so that a dowel, a circular dowel, a round dowel called a Scotch key, could be aligned through both the gears and the shaft, preventing it from turning. And then of course also just torquing the bolt down to retain them as well, but it's not needed to retain the timing relationship then. It's just merely retaining the gear itself. So this is something I really need to do, and I've actually got a jig wending its way towards me to enable me to drill and insert a Scotch key dowel to align the timing on those gears and stop that problem happening.